What's up, guys? Back with another episode of Barbells and Banter, and this one was on the back of a epic filming session. So we filmed 4 episodes in a row, so you might feel a little bit of salt by the end of the episode where we start talking about blood work and personal trainers. But in the midst of that, we had a really good discussion about training styles across the generations and what we think would be maybe the best way to kind of go about things to keep yourself fit, healthy, big, and strong. And a lot of banter in between that. We also talked about RPE, RAR, and percentages, what they are, where they probably make the most sense, and who best to use them with, and like how we implement it with our own programming style. So we'd be really interested to know, what you guys use and kind of how you think and feel about that. If you guys are hearing this and you're a coach, this is a perfect opportunity if you want to learn more about the programming side of things to go to, and you're in the Gold Coast, to go to our programming workshop. So you guys can hit the link in bio. Head to STC Learn and get a ticket for that. Ben and I will be there March 2nd and 3rd, going over all the programming stuff. If you're not, go to the website, enjoy a bunch of free stuff. There's a muscle building cheat sheet on there. The girls have got their Food Freedom program kickstarting as well. So there's plenty of things on there to help you guys level up your training and your nutrition, your mindset, all of those things. That's it from me, guys. We'll get to the episode and we'll see you next time. Hey, Tam, I've got a question for you. Are you bulking? You trying to get swole? He's just turning on his mic.
Always, but I'm not doing anything specific at the moment.
You put down those wraps pretty quick. And that chips, bro. I was pretty impressed at lunch.
Smashed it.
Yeah. Did you skip breakfast?
I'd never have breakfast.
Yeah, okay. That makes more
The
sense.
lunch is always
like,
my
this
first
guy.
big meal.
Intermittent fasting.
Yeah. It's time-restricted feeding.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you still getting jacked? Are you still going to the gym?
Yeah.
Have you been back to Taekwondo as well?
3 times a week gym, which I'm questioning my leg day at the moment because I almost couldn't walk after Taekwondo last night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah.
But that's the goal. Taekwondo
Team
once a
Dorito.
week.
How many once a week taekwondo? Yeah. Is that just like, getting rid of the cobwebs, or are you learning new shit?
No, I'd like to say I'm back.
Yeah. We're back.
Yeah.
You got to say I'm so back and then put like a post on Instagram. Yeah. Just in the gi. Is it a gi? Or what do they call it?
Fuck, I should know this.
Yeah. It's all right.
Because the gi is the Japanese word.
Yeah, okay.
Right.
I can't remember the Korean word at the moment.
Oh, look. It's dressing down. That's really thick.
Yeah.
And grabbable.
Yeah.
What's
It's like it's not something that I'm posting about again. Oh, look what I'm doing. It's just
Yeah, you're just doing
I
it.
just want something that's athletic feeling.
I get it.
Imagine a life where you could just do stuff and not have to put it on the internet.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that. I thought that picture you put up was like of like an older older photo.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this must be a throwback of when Tam was doing Taekwondo. And it was like a week ago.
Yeah.
He just hasn't aged. I can't wait to tell Steph. Because we're both sitting there like, is that recent?
Yeah.
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 Oh,
Yes,
yes,
it was.
genetics. What's a session like when you go to Taekwondo?
It depends.
Yeah.
Because
Give the people an answer. Come on, man.
the class can range from like 10 to 30 students.
Yeah. Okay.
So the instructor will be like, all right, this group is here today. This is what we need to focus on.
Yeah. Okay.
It's only an hour. So there's an hour juniors class, an hour seniors class.
Yeah.
I go to the seniors one. So
Yeah. Do they ever ask you like for ID or anything? Like?
that's basically just experienced.
Yeah. Okay.
So even if you're still a lower level belt, you can go to the senior one just to see what it's about.
I love that.
Yeah. But you might practice your patterns, practice your movement sequences, or it might be drills, or it might be conditioning or sparring.
Mm-hmm. Have you done any sparring yet?
Mixed bag. We've done like preset sparring.
Okay.
So it's like you're gonna spar using these conditions. So
So they set rules.
yeah.
So they don't bash each other.
Yeah.
Easing into the free sparring later in the year.
Okay.
Annie said to me the other day that she's allowed to go back to sparring.
Yeah.
I think she said April.
Yeah.
And Gabe just sent a date because she wants to spar with me. And she's like, oh, we'll fight. Okay. No, because I'll die.
We'll fight.
Yeah.
Is
She's
it
like,
allowed to spar because she got kicked in the head?
no, she goes mid-April. I'm like, do you have a fight?
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, no, I'm just allowed to spar again. I just have to tell them not to kick me in the head. I'm like, can I tell everyone that too? Because that like sounds like a pretty good rule to just not get kicked in the head.
I don't think Annie's getting kicked in the head by you, mate.
Nah, maybe mid-shin.
It's like, yeah, maybe the hip.
Yeah, no, she's too tall.
Maybe
I'm not getting the hip.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be happy for a good thigh kick, to be honest.
Yeah. Are you? What's your situation? Are you doing?
So I've actually investigated a new gym that's a little more by the seams, but from the outside looks a little bit more technical.
As in a new fighting gym.
Yeah. In Melton, it's a Muay Thai specific instead of an MMA gym. And the way that they've explained it is you actually do technique work, which
Is important.
is what I want to do because I'm a nerd and I like to learn things.
I feel like MMA gyms are really general.
Yeah.
Until you want to fight and get good and then do the disciplines.
Yeah, I just couldn't see. Yeah. I couldn't see the pathway from what I did to then be able to be good.
Yeah.
It's like you
got to put so much work in it, but it's like how?
I got 4 Qs in an hour.
Yeah.
It's like how, you know what I mean?
So, I feel like to make their money, the MMA gyms, like sometimes they got to lean into just like doing group shit.
Well, and
to make people come, and then you've got like 10 fighters that are like probably had a background already, and they got coaches that like do certain disciplines.
Yeah. So this one has like 3 tiers. So it's like intro, intermediate, advanced. Yeah. So yeah, it was like you have to go and earn your stripes, do the beginner.
Did you get all your gloves and stuff? Did you end up getting all?
I found them. Yeah.
You found them, huh? Yeah.
Not in Jason's possession.
So they weren't in my house.
No. I thought you had them.
Yeah, I love it. You're like, I know you have them.
Nah, I found them.
I found mine. So I was just like, are these mine?
Yeah, maybe.
You got my head. Nah, they're mine. Yeah, because I got the red. I got the red 16s.
Found my feet, big Mickey Mouse white ones.
Yeah. See, I've got white 10s and red 16s.
Yeah, black 10s.
Yeah. So I've changed it up, and I got like MMA gloves that I've never used. You know the ones that like have the the oval on them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did like a month of MMA and bought them. Just got caught up.
Yeah.
It's like buying things is fun.
Yeah. Having things is fun. Buying things is funner.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. So timing wise and stuff, they have better time slots as well. So
yeah. What time are we talking?
6 p.m. every night.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like 6 p.m. like not much is going on.
Yeah. And then I think the intermediate one's like 7. So
yeah.
I'm trying to get a little more routine at home first.
Yeah, of course.
And then I'm also getting fitter every week. So
you're doing the nighttime workouts now? Is that what you decided?
That was the initial plan. It hasn't really. I've just sort of gone.
Yeah, just do
whenever. Yeah. So training usually both days on the weekend because we have people over and got a bit more help and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, just whenever. But
yeah.
There's no real structure. So.
Yeah, I've been thinking about like moving my workout because I normally like get up, eat, and then go gym. I've been thinking about moving my workout to like 11.
Yep.
So then I'm like, I get
work first.
Yeah, work up. Because sometimes like I get a bit of anxiety about like the work I have to do.
Yeah.
And I'm like, fuck, it's taking too long. And
yeah.
If I want to do cardio, like it's my only movement in the day. I don't have like a walking pad at the moment.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yeah, fuck, like how do I make this all work?
10:30, 11's my favorite time to train.
It's feeling pretty good.
I
feel like my joints are like
breakfast,
better.
Work, snack, train, lunch, work.
Couple of meals, hydration.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it doesn't take as long to get going as well. Sometimes when I go to the gym in the morning, I'm like, I'm not quite feeling it.
Yeah.
You know? And it takes a little bit. And I like start like, I'll do this workout tomorrow and I'll do this workout instead.
Yeah. I think the challenge at the moment is I still want to finish work at 5. Yeah. If I train during the day, I don't work to 7.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I want to go.
Yeah. I reckon if I jumped on the laptop, if I got on the computer at like 7, I could do like till 10:30, and it's pretty good work. Yeah. Like, because you're fresh and
less notifications.
Yeah, there's less people awake and stuff. So I reckon that 3 hours, 3.5 hours would be worth 5 hours of work.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And then like come back and just do the stuff that doesn't require as much. Yeah. Because you go to the gym at 11. Yeah, probably home like 1:30.
Yeah. People listening are like, fuck these guys.
Yeah.
Going to the gym at 5:30 and 7:30 p.m. and shit.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't have that much sympathy. if I'm being honest. Because like for fucking 12 years, I was up at 5:30 trying to get motivated to train people, and then walking in the door at 8 o'clock at night,
crashing your car in the car park because you said tired.
Yeah, so I feel like can comfortably say I'm like put myself in this position.
Yeah, I earned it.
Yeah, definitely. So I have a question. So you know how you speak to people who've lifted for like a long period of time.
Yeah.
And let's say like we only have the older generation of people like lifting who were a little bit ahead of us to kind of work off. And their philosophy, when you think about it, was heavily based around like fucking compound training, heavy lifting, whatever. Have you noticed that most of them don't train that way now just because they're fucked up?
It hurts. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So then I'm like, well, is that a direct reflection of how they trained when they were younger? And the fact that they did it too often? And are we going to share the same fate? Because is it just a symptom of us lifting weights, or is it the fact that we may be better physically because we don't do those movements and that style of training as often?
Yeah.
That was a real loaded question.
I wonder what lifestyle factors there are too, though.
So, like, look at like it's a terrible example, but look at like Ronnie Coleman.
Yeah.
So it was like just real heavy lifting, like all say, even like some other bodybuilders that like aren't as notorious, like they'll all sit there and say, like now they're all advocates of like form, and like lightweight and centralizing tension, but they didn't train that way.
Yeah. So
it's like, do you only train that way now because you see the benefit because you fucked yourself up?
Yeah.
And then like, are you so messed up because the message at the time was
lift all the weight? Yeah.
And like, they had all these barbell movements. Maybe they didn't have like a lot of, because like engineering's come a long way too. So like machines and all those things are
better. Yeah. I think I don't think we train as piggish as the generation before us.
Yeah.
In general, I think we're way more conscious of technique and approaching programming intelligently, and even lifestyle factors.
Yeah.
I think are better. I don't know. I don't expect myself to be beat up at 50.
Yeah, because it's like
from the gym.
It's like there's like a rite of passage at the moment, or like if you look at the people who are a little further ahead, it's like I did all the heavy weights and I'm fucked up, and it's like that's my ticket for being a meathead.
Yeah.
And it's like, is that a representation of the training that they did? Or is it just a representation of training? And are you and I still willing? Are you and I still going to get that?
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah,
I expect to be better off than a footballer at 50. Unless I start fighting, then maybe not.
Yeah. So why do you think that's so though?
But just because I think we put more emphasis, the people that are the old school fucking lat pull down behind the neck and gross rows and all that stuff that just beat the shit out of themselves to get big. We don't do that.
Yeah. I wonder if like another big person...
We take a way more cerebral approach to training than what they did 10 years before us.
Yeah. Do you think that's because we do less barbell work though?
It helps. I think the overall damage that you're doing to your body is less because you're doing less barbell work.
Yeah. Or is it the weight? Or is it a combination of both?
I think it's just the abuse of the connective tissue.
Yeah. I reckon it's a combination of both, because like when you put a barbell on you kind of want to lift more weight. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I think too, and just like when I say lifestyle, I think like recovery, I think like how many of them are going to get treatments?
Yeah.
Because like, my shoulder hurts.
Yeah.
Or it's just like, how many older guys, 10 years older than you, have you seen in black and blue clothes that walk past that smell like deep heat?
Yeah.
It's like, if you have to put deep heat on to come to the gym, don't come. Don't train that thing.
It's a disgusting smell.
Pain is a warning.
Yeah.
Listen to it.
I can't talk when it comes to that.
I know, but like
Mr. Bursitis over here.
we joke about like even when I was powerlifting, it was like the Voltaren tablets. They're just called powerlifting Skittles.
Yeah.
This is part of it. So it's like how much of that? I think if I was even now another 3 years competing in powerlifting, I think I'd be a lot more fucked up.
Yeah. Wait, permanently?
Yeah.
Wow. So what do you think? What would be? So how do you lift? Like, is that just a side effect?
Because I'm not willing to do the external stuff, which I think the generation before us didn't.
Yeah.
They're not waking up doing fucking cat camels.
Yeah. Okay.
So if you're taking care of yourself outside of the gym, you're taking care of those niggles, you're taking care of your mobility, you're taking care of your diet, you're taking care of sleep, stress, all of that. Not just like the be-all and end-all is more weight on the bar every single week. Even if it hurts, we just figure out a way to get by.
Yeah, I get it.
I think we put more emphasis in that, which then in turn means training is not beating you up as much.
Yeah.
Like my last prep was hell, man.
Yeah.
Like how many times did I just walk out of the garage?
Yeah.
It was just like, this hurts so fucking much. And it was just because
Yeah, just didn't
I
put the
wasn't
work in.
doing the work that I needed to.
Yeah, okay. So it's not the training, it's what needs to be done to do the training.
Yeah.
But then if you don't do that, it is the training. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, because then your training needs to, like my training now allows for the fact that I don't.
Yeah. So if you don't want to put the work in, sorry, let me rephrase that. If you don't want to spend 20 minutes before you have to train to put yourself into a position to do that,
Yeah.
how should you train to not be beaten up and have, I guess, like longevity
within the parameters of your capabilities?
Yeah. So work within the parameters of your capabilities?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
that and train things that improve your level of capability.
What's an example of that?
So, say like the function exercises that we use, right? So
Yeah.
like a front foot elevated reverse lunge or a
Yeah.
half kneeling landmine press or whatever.
Mm.
Things that are going to improve bodybuilders, notoriously shit overhead.
Yeah.
So doing reaching drills are really effective for improving that. So second I walk into the gym at the moment, I do like only 5 minutes on the floor. Camels, thread the needle, single leg RDLs usually. Usually I do foam rolling outside of that when I can.
Yeah.
And then I go straight and do reverse flies and an overhead foam roller wall press as a superset, 2 sets before I train every single time.
Yeah.
Then inside the session, I'm conscious of, you were saying like being the desk worker. It's like, well, okay, what do I need to do to not be a desk worker? Like I probably need to rotate. I probably need to like get into extension and shit like that.
Yeah.
So I think programming with that in mind, how many half kneeling landmine presses were there 15 years ago?
Yeah. Do you reckon people do that as a whole though, or it's just in our bubble?
No, probably not.
Yeah.
But I think you go get manual therapy more.
Yeah. Yeah, I just wonder if the whole SBD lifestyle where you have to do it all the time is still a...
But even the way I powerlifted, man, was not... And that was a big part of it when you look at why that last prep was so rough, is I only had barbells.
Yeah.
Because it was in the garage.
Yeah. Even think about like some of the clients that you have who come from previous history of that though. Like how beaten up and functional were they before they got a little more exercise variety?
Yeah, most of them have. Yeah, to be fair, I don't have a lot, but most people that come from that style have heaps of restrictions.
Yeah. Or had.
Yeah.
Oh, they're not fixed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just thinking about it. I'm like, this person's fucked because of this. Like, I just, listening to people talk on the internet.
Yeah, yeah.
Because obviously, like, immersing myself into an unhealthy amount of YouTube.
Yeah. Well, you're probably seeing more of that than me. I only really see my clients.
Yeah, so it just seems like there's commonalities where there's someone now like who has the right to give people, you know, like, hey, this is what I did, and
Yeah.
you know, I'm now busted.
Yeah.
And to get by now, I've adopted this kind of lighter weight, kind of slower tempo, kind of style of training. You know, obviously working like, you know, more focus on the muscle itself and whatever. But then I was like, and then you get the next person and they're like, you know, 45 and they're like, you know, I can't squat below parallel and I can't do this and I can't do that. And I'm like, these people are like very similar in age, and then their training history would suggest that they had the same mentality.
Yep.
So it's like, you know, fucking heavyweight, barbells, you know, have to do these certain movements, have to do them.
Yep.
And then we go to this generation where it's like, we kind of sit in the middle, I think, where it's like, barbell work's still good.
Yeah.
And fucking how much fun is it?
Yeah.
Bro, when I moved that barbell with Jess and Tam, I reckon the smile was from the fun.
Yeah.
Not the weight.
Yeah.
I was just like, because you know how fun it is to like know you're not going to die and move a barbell?
Yeah.
It's so much fun. I was saying to them, I'm like, I can't train like
best
this
feeling.
because I don't trust anyone.
Yeah.
And I'm always by myself.
Yeah.
But then we still use machines because we're like, oh, look, you can load the muscle, you know, like it's not as fatiguing, you know, blah, 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 blah. I can get more volume, et cetera, et cetera. But then you got the other generation now that are coming through where it's just like they're too far across.
Not strong enough.
Yeah, they're just not. And barbells aren't a thing anymore.
Yeah.
So I just wonder, like, when you take all three of our generations to 50
Yeah.
and you've trained for 30 years, like, who feels the best?
Yeah. Yeah. So
Sorry, not just who feels the best.
It was like, what's your goal too, though?
Yeah, well, we're talking about getting jacked.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. So I reckon I'd be interested to know who feels the best, who's the strongest at that time,
Yeah.
and who looks the best.
Yeah.
As a combination of three. So it's not like you're only gonna look at the person who looks the best.
Yeah.
You have to feel good
Yeah.
and be relatively strong. You know.
Yeah.
I just wonder who is that.
I think it's the person that does the most outside of the gym.
Yeah. Yeah. So it irrespective of the way you do your training.
Yeah.
What you do outside of the gym, you would say influences how you feel and perform and the results you get from that.
Yeah, so I'm trying to think about maybe even going into like a football kind of concept.
As in Aussie rules?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
someone like a Nathan Buckley.
Yeah.
Super diligent, fucking every I dotted, every T crossed with prep, with everything. Versus Dane Swan, who played a little bit overweight, needed to party on the weekends, and I don't imagine he was doing the extra recovery sessions
I guess it's
outside
like
of training.
Ronaldo and Wayne Rooney.
Yeah.
The same talent. One was smoking durries on the weekend.
Yeah.
And this dude's trying to work out some like revolutionary recovery method to keep him playing.
So Ronaldo and Buckley are
Yeah.
going to be better at 50 than the other two guys.
Yeah.
So then if you go, well, gym is because the way we treat the gym is like a sport. It's a performance endeavor. It's not a health endeavor.
It's probably, and I guess we're looking at it too for some people who it was a job.
Yeah.
So then it's like when it's a job, you maybe look at your body as an expense to that.
Yeah.
Like as in,
Yeah.
I'm making millions of dollars. Like it doesn't matter if I need two hip replacements because the job requires me to push my body to limits. Where we're like, that this isn't necessarily our job as per se. It's an expression of, but not the job.
Yeah, it's almost the inverse of like two tradies.
Yeah.
One tradie who goes to the gym and keeps himself fit and in shape and eats well and sleeps well, versus one tradie who takes no care of his body, who's
it still
better
does
at 50.
the job. Yeah, it still both still do the job, right?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I think if you're smart programming, lifestyle, invested in longevity, let's say, which if you're invested in longevity, you're considering that in your programming, you're not allowing injuries, niggles to get out of hand. You're eating well, you're sleeping well, you're monitoring stress. It's not just about what happens in the gym. Because even like powerlifting, man, like the first nationals we went to was sit next to guys that just are competing, eating meat pies.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, they were like, yeah, that actually was hilarious.
So it's like nutrition in powerlifting is a really new thing.
So here's another question, just off all of that. So you take these 3 generations and let's just assume their training styles, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we'll go hardcore barbell.
Yeah.
Very minimal machine work. Let's say maybe machine work for back.
Yeah.
And then you've got, we'll call it our generation, which is coming off the back end of heavily barbell influence, but now introducing more machines.
Nautilus exists.
Yeah, Nautilus is a thing, and hammer strength.
Yeah.
And then you've got this other generation, which is just like, heavily like cables machines.
Yeah.
They might pick up a dumbbell,
Mm-hmm.
but aren't barbell strong.
Yeah.
At 50, even at 40.
Who wins the fight?
Even you train like that for 15 years.
Yeah.
Because then you could say they're in the peak, like 35.
Yeah.
Who looks the best? Who is the best? Who's the
We're
strongest?
gonna say us, right?
Who? Yeah, like, but it's,
Like,
you know what
or we wouldn't be doing
You know my real answer? I don't think it matters.
it. Mm.
I actually don't think it matters. And I know people are going to be like, hang on a minute, man. Aren't you a fucking personal trainer?
Yeah.
But I don't.
Feels the best.
All of it.
Yeah.
Who
I
who puts the most muscle on? They all will.
Yep.
Who gets the strongest? You have to now quantify.
Strength.
Yeah, correct. Because you like, if you just fucking,
Never
like,
deadlift before.
those people that like do like 1 RM leg presses.
Yeah. Yeah.
like it's not.
What is strength?
It doesn't really count.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's probably the hardest thing to quantify.
Yeah.
Because then you're still gonna have to peak. You're gonna have to teach them how to do the thing that the other guys have done for 15 years,
Yeah.
right? So that's where the cable dumbbell crew
Mhm.
are gonna lose.
I think they feel better.
Yeah,
It's almost inverse. Well, nah.
we're gonna
Guys are so beat up they don't look good.
we're gonna be a happy medium though, right?
I hope so.
Well, that would be the goal.
Yeah.
Like it's in terms of feel, look, and strength.
Yeah.
I think muscularity wise, they all look the same.
Probably. Yeah.
Well, the way we apply training would make sense for that to happen.
Yeah.
Because it's like tension on muscle,
Yeah.
progressively overload.
Mhm.
Like strength wise, I would argue that the younger generation currently,
Would miss
the
out.
cable dumbbell crew,
Yeah.
they're going to be weakest.
Yeah.
And then I would argue that the generation before us are going to be the strongest
Yeah.
as a unit.
Yeah. Dad strong.
Just like lumberjack.
Yeah.
Strong.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't you think that's yeah?
You mean country strong? That's what Ben is.
Yeah, maybe.
Not right now.
Yeah.
Dylan Sim, funnily enough, when you were talking about powerlifting, he's like, "Come Ben, tell Ben to come to a meet again."
Yeah. Yeah.
Hi, Dylan.
What's up, bro? I'd maybe do push pull.
Yeah,
I could be tempted with a push pull.
bit of fun.
Yeah, you just want to do the ones you like. So I'd rather just do squat and push.
Yeah, it's like
Squat and bench.
squatting hurts my shoulder, and then that
Yeah.
makes bench pressing hurt, and then it's like I don't want to.
Oh yeah, true. I'm
With
just
those two?
not doing any.
Mm.
To be honest.
Like if I didn't squat, I could bench forever.
Yeah.
If I just safety bar squatted, I could bench infinitely
Yeah.
and deadlift for infinitely.
It's true. I just suck at deadlifting.
Maybe I'll just get enormous again and go for that 300 one day.
The myo nuclei is there for you to get jacked, sir.
Mm.
All right, quick break in the episode, guys. Just wanted to talk about coaching. So we at STCfit are committed to taking your body composition, training, performance, your health and well-being all to the next level. Our experienced team of coaches are ready to help you get the most out of yourself. You don't just have to be a powerlifter or a bodybuilder or an athlete. You just need to be somebody who knows that you have a lot of potential and want to reach it. And you can join the team by heading to the website, submitting a coaching inquiry form, and one of our coaches will get in touch with you. All right, let's get back to the episode. Did you do you want to do? So I feel like that flows onto the. Do you want to do the RPE?
Yeah, let's do it.
What's your?
So RPE versus RIR versus percentage-based programming.
Mm-hmm.
What are your preferences?
What? So,
Who wins?
yeah. Let's do a who. This is
What
a who,
generation?
This is a who wins it.
It's almost generational too.
Yeah, well, like
'cause,
percentage is like the
yeah.
old school crew. Yeah,
Yeah, and then we came
shit.
through RPE, and then now it's mostly rep and reserve.
Yeah, I think I don't use percentages personally.
Yeah.
But I don't really work. Sorry, I know how to use percentages, and I have used percentages,
Yeah.
especially when I trained a lot of powerlifters at the time because I was figuring out, whether I could do it.
Yeah.
And did it up to a certain point.
Yeah.
But then I feel like after that, if you're moving into lifestyle clients, physique clients, I don't know if percentage is that valuable.
Yeah.
And then with RPE, I think it's as long as you get the language right and you get the parameters right, and it's like this means this. I don't see the point in arguing over rep and reserve and RPE when you get the terminologies right. So if people sit there and say RPE is reverse RIR, let's just say a 9 is there's one rep left, then that argument is just a waste of breath.
Yeah.
But then, we've had discussions in the past on if our RPE is about how it feels, something can feel hard and be nowhere near how many reps, the same reps, in that inverse relationship to, quote unquote, failure. Because I don't know, let's say you're sick and the RPE is 9.
Yeah.
Doesn't necessarily mean the rep and reserve is 1 for an exercise. Does it make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, I think what you said with every argument around this shit is just someone takes their own interpretation of what RPE means and then argues with someone else who has a different interpretation of what RPE means. And then they have a fight.
And they come together at the end and go...
It's like you're not even talking about the same fucking thing.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, RPE stemmed from session RPE. Tell me how
hard the session was.
How hard do you think that running session was?
Yeah, absolutely.
And then it obviously got, I think it was it the 3DMJ guys first introduced it to strength training, I think. And then obviously rep and reserve came off the back of that because people were just we'll apply a rep and reserve formula to RPE for strength training because that's more effective.
Yeah, now there's RTF.
What the fuck's
reps
that?
to failure.
Oh,
so
it's the same thing.
So now it's just inverse RR.
Yeah.
So it's it's RPE, but it sounds better.
Yeah.
So it's reps to failure. So it's 4 reps to failure, 3 reps to failure, 2 reps.
Yeah.
That's
Same shit. Yeah. So, look, I don't use RPE anymore as a inverse RIR.
I like that.
I use it as a genuine how close to death are you? Because you can't use a rep and reserve in a powerlifting peak.
Yeah, and you can't really...
I can't give you a 3 as a single.
Yeah.
It doesn't work.
No, I get it.
So I have to give you a 7 and be this should feel like an opener. It should be comfortable.
Absolutely.
Maybe you can double it, but it's super easy.
And you can't assume that person can get 3 reps at that weight.
Which they probably can't, especially if they're a male, especially if they're strong.
Yeah. I absolutely agree with that. And that's where, as long as you get the distinction right, and the lifter understands the parameters of their coach's language and parameter data points, you can then use it. And look, in a perfect world, I would love to have the session RPE should be this.
Yeah.
The lift should feel this hard.
Yeah.
And the reps to failure should be this much, and it should all really line up and shit. But I don't know, you kind of sometimes are working just with people's capacity to put in their
process information.
Yeah, just
and fill out a form.
Sometimes just filling in your fucking work,out is enough for some people, It's granted, people should be more committed, blah, blah, blah. Whatever. It's I think as long as you get the data points right and the definitions, I don't really think. I think everyone's just swinging their dicks, talking about shit that doesn't matter.
Yeah, because it's like the technique thing. It's no fucking definition.
And if people want to go,
tell me what the universal meaning for that is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you want to go a step further, it's how do we know?
Yeah.
How do you know that it is?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's realistically, it's you just want to have
some information,
a framework for the lifter to be conscious of, are they putting enough effort in?
Yeah.
And then you as the coach are there to show them within this scale, what are you capable of? Yeah. So what's your, you and I, our 1 to 10 could be like this, and your clients could be here at the moment.
Yeah.
So it's like their 10's here, but like their capacity is here.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like you just haven't gotten there yet.
Yeah, and then you see people fucking, like coaches in particular that on the hack squat, and they stand at the top for 5 seconds,
Yeah.
and they're like, "This is fucking RPE 10." It's like based on what? You change the parameters.
Yeah. There's like
Like-
too much of a gap between your
Yeah,
reps.
if you're taking a fucking half a rest, you're doing cluster sets almost. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So
Absolutely.
if I don't pause, then I fail.
Yeah.
That's failure.
Agreed.
But because you paused for 5 seconds for your last 3 reps and got an extra 3 reps,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, and then
Yeah.
they're the people that are like, that's their definition of RPE is that. I'm like, well,
That's not maybe
yeah,
universal.
to me, that's an 11.
Yeah. That's
Like-
not universal from coach to coach. Yeah.
Correct.
So then, yeah, I get it. Yeah, I like if I was a lifter, I would just really want to know, like, if your coach is using either or all of it, what do they mean by it, and like what is each, like how should you use it so they can get the most out of you?
Yeah.
But like, yeah, realistically, even for me, I'm just like, most of the time, if you put 2, or you put 4, it's going to be, actually, sorry, if you put 2, it's never 2.
Yeah.
It's always 3 or 4.
Yeah.
And then if you put 0, very few of them are going to 0.
Yeah.
So sometimes I just use it with if it says 0, it just means fucking go for
hard.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like even
Yeah.
like in our old programs, I don't know if you remember, we used to just have what it meant. So we used to have words.
Yeah.
So it used to be moderate,
Yeah.
and then it used to be hard.
Yeah.
Very hard, and then extremely hard.
Yeah.
So we never actually, and that
Yeah,
was like, that was, instead of using the number,
Yeah.
we just used what the description was of the number.
Yeah.
And so the client was like, okay, this week
Yeah.
I'm fucking
gone.
burying myself.
Yeah.
So now I just communicate to my guys, like, if the week says 0,
Mm.
that is what 0 means.
Yeah.
It's
Same.
not like I just want you to give it everything you have.
Yeah.
And as long as you do that,
Yeah.
that's all I can ask for.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you're going to lift more weight, sometimes you're not.
Yeah.
Like whatever's available to you for that week,
Yeah.
just do it. Because then you don't walk out of the gym asking your coach to have more sets in your program because you've used the
train hard
scale.
Yeah.
You've used the scale to work out how hard those lifts should be.
Yeah.
And how hard those sets should be.
Yeah.
And that's the most important thing. Because you don't want a training system that's predicated on fatigue. Like you don't want a training system that's, I've got to throw a heap of sets at you forever
Yeah.
for you to get tired.
Yeah.
And
Make progress.
feel like you're making
Just-
progress, because you only make progress for so long, right?
Yeah.
So if you have rep in reserve, if you have reps to failure, you have RPE, whatever, you're showing that person from the get-go what that set should feel like from an effort perspective.
Yeah.
And then you're showing them how to get to that level of effort and more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's almost like with the strength programs, I'll be often change the main lift,
Yeah.
rep and reserve, and then I generally don't even touch the rep and reserve of any other lift.
Yeah.
For most of the people I work with. I have done in the past. I've done everything cycled every 3 weeks and blah, blah. Like you said, it's literally just like, okay, so this week my squats are 3, next week it's a 2, next week it's a 1. It's like, okay, so it should progressively get harder and heavier every single week.
Mm.
Then my accessory exercise is a 2. It's like, okay, don't bury myself in it. Make sure it's perfect.
Mm.
And then my leg extension is a 1. So I should be
pretty close, yeah.
pretty much fucked after each of them.
Yeah.
But be able to walk away fine.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, that's the benchmark. And then every week I'm trying to do more than I did last week still. It's just that exercise is hard.
Yeah.
That exercise, like you said, is really hard or whatever.
Yeah. And then, like I think percentage-wise it's valuable to only if you know what that person's capable of lifting, right?
So that's why I don't use it.
Because it's like you would have to have numbers. So it would work awesome if someone come off the back end of a show, right? A meet. Because you go,
Yeah.
let's say if you know that person deadlifted like, I don't know, 200 kilos, let's just say,
Yeah.
for example. You could then go, well, let's start their next like, not that you would do that because they probably wouldn't deadlift after that. But anyway, fuck it. Let's just use the example. You could maybe start their week 1 at like 80% of that.
In theory, but then I think there's so much variation between people's ability to repeat effort.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, the gap between my 1 and my double is insane.
Mm.
Like, 20%. Insane.
Yeah. So are you saying you're almost worth
spending... Like, I reckon my best double in prep was probably 220, 230.
Yeah.
And I pulled 260.
Yeah. So then in that theory then, or with that information in mind, do you feel like you almost are just better off spending the first 2 to 3 weeks, like whenever it is you are prepping again to get strong, working up to whatever rep range it is that you've selected to accumulate that strength again, and then just working off the RPE?
Yeah. I think, and maybe I'm just not a good coach, Chase, but I don't have any clients right now or in the last 5 years that I could tell you what they're going to lift on the platform.
Yeah.
Which means I don't want to predict what their lifts are going to be.
Oh, as in at
because
the start.
I don't know. Yeah, because if you're going to go off percentages, you're either...
So you're working off them maybe doing 205, let's say. So you're like, cool. So we work everything back off the percentage of that. Let's start at your 80%, work up to 85 maybe in your first block, then work from 85 to 92, which would make sense in those adaptations that we're talking about in the Learn podcast. And then you would go with your peak, and you would be peaking off that 205 again, right?
Yeah. Yeah, so you're predicting
you're almost
what you expect them to do on the platform, which I don't do until they peak.
Interesting.
So it's like your numbers on the platform are determined by your usually last heavy in the gym.
Yeah.
For me.
Yeah.
So it's like, and I've seen, even for the lift off we did in Sydney, I had a couple of girls that put, out of confidence, put 20 kilos on their squat in 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
Yeah. Do you reckon it's a more advanced?
Yeah, 100%. I know like Thomas uses it, and that makes sense to me.
Yeah, so it's like if you're working with people where the skill isn't the
Yeah, because Will Crozier can sit down and go, I should hit these numbers because I've been doing powerlifting for 10 years and I'm here and I am pretty confident that this is what's possible.
Yeah, so it's
and I can reverse engineer my prep to reflect that.
Yeah, so then it's not that it's ineffective, it's just knowing when to use it with what lifter, right?
Yeah, and I'm sure like the coaches that use it would then make adaptations if you miss a lift and all that kind of stuff. The people I'm working with, the cost of missing a lift is too expensive.
Yeah, just momentum-wise, right?
Yeah, psychological recovery. It's like I'm not there, and I'd rather all my lifters undershoot.
Yeah.
Than miss lifts.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
So because I can still find that on the day, because it's not going to be a fucking them undershooting by, like, I've got a new client who's come from percentages, and like she's just freaking out. She's like, "What do I lift this week?" I'm like, "We did this last week. If that feels comfortable, go up.
Yeah,
if that feels comfortable, go up. That feels comfortable, go up."
And you're just micro progressing, right?
Yeah, it's like and for her, it's like she's learning. She's paying more attention to how her body feels. She's building more confidence,
building autonomy as well.
Of course. So it's like, for someone like that, what has she not achieved because she's been put in a box that she's supposed to lift this week?
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, well, could she not lift it more? Like,
so Jess has already surpassed a couple of the numbers she had planned for a comp. We're 5-6 weeks away.
Yeah. She even I think she lifted more than she needed to on the bench press day.
Yeah.
And then she was like, "Oh, I'm just going to go back down because it didn't really feel that good on this like prehistoric bench."
Yeah.
So she just went back down, So it's like, if you go, you have to hit this number.
Yeah, so she jumped. She had a really good week. She's had all this sleep because her son's been playing the game and stuff. So she put 5 kilos on her deadlift this week.
Yeah.
It's like, what do you want me to do? Tell her not to take it.
Yeah.
There's too many variables.
And then like, what happens when then the one thing that we've had a problem with in the past of like telling someone how much to lift is what happens when they don't lift it.
It breaks them.
Well, they get fucked up.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
mentally, they're just like, oh, I was supposed to lift this and I didn't.
Yeah.
Now have I failed?
Yeah.
So if you do go off like, that RP scale, it's like, this is what was available to you. So it was like, it was like RP 9 or whatever.
Yeah.
But I didn't lift.
Yeah.
Like, this is all I could lift, which wasn't as much. But it's like, okay, cool. Well, maybe for this week, for whatever reason, like,
Yeah.
let's just say Parker had a bad week sleeping.
Yeah.
It's like, cool, you gave it everything you had.
Mm-hmm.
But on a better week, it's just like you have
get
more.
better rewards.
Yeah, because you have more.
Yeah. So I just remember where I was going with it. So we get caught up in this minutia, right? And like every little fucking percent and kilo and stuff counts week to week. And that client that I've got coming on is very much what is the absolute number I should lift today because I want to tick the perfect box to get the perfect day in the competition.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. I understand that neuroticism because I have it.
Yeah.
But ultimately, how your second attempt moves determines your third.
Yeah, of course.
And you're not going to undershoot by so much that come comp day, you miss out on 5 kilos.
Yeah.
It's going to be 2% max, like less. On your bench press, it's going to be 1.25, 2.5 kilos. It's not going to be 5 kilos.
Yeah.
That's the difference of because if you're undershooting, you're probably drilling better tech, which for intermediate and beginner lifters that I work with, again, making it very clear, I don't work with
the highest
Anthony Cruz, no Will Croziers.
Yeah.
So you're drilling a skill at a slightly submaximal load that maybe could be 2 kilos heavier, that then breaks down your form, that then makes you stressed, that then whatever. I'd much rather you be there than miss.
Yeah, I agree.
And I don't think the gain on the back end is actually going to be that much.
Yeah.
Because if you've been undershooting, when you hit your opener, I'll know.
Yeah.
Or when you hit your second, which was the best lift you did in the gym, I'll know. And I'm like, we're going up 10 kilos for your deadlift. Unless you've really fucked it up and I haven't looked at any of your lifts and told you like, hey, you got more than that.
Yeah.
You're not, like we did it to Mads last year. I think her last jump on her deads was 100. It was 10 kilos.
Yeah, right.
Because you just undershot in the gym.
Yeah. Yeah, which makes, it's common.
Yeah. Add a crowd, add a G up, add pressure.
Yeah. Adrenaline does a good thing.
You're standing the fuck up. And maybe she didn't undershoot. Maybe it just was arousal. So,
yeah,
I don't think there's that much to gain by micromanaging that much detail at that level.
Yeah. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, I think all those points are valid. So yeah, hopefully the guys at home know the difference.
99% PB rate. And that 1% didn't train.
Quick break in the episode, guys. If you're looking for more information on how you can look, feel, and perform better, head over to our website, take advantage of all of the content that we have there, even the YouTube channels, plenty of videos and stuff on there. Also, rotating free resources that you guys can access completely free. Okay, let's get back to the episode.
Do you think before we added, because we didn't use RPE or rep and reserve for a long time, so it's like, why did we get all those results before that?
Yeah,
it's like let's go hierarchy.
Yeah,
it's like which ones, what falls in like ahead of the effort.
Yeah,
that allowed us to not look at those things earlier and still get those results. Like what else mattered then? Like why did we still get?
I think the thing you could argue then was we weren't online. We've always had it as an online coach.
Yeah.
So you were able to manage someone's effort because you were there.
Yeah, so you could just...
It's like
we inadvertently...
2 more.
It's like you inadvertently just like managed their effort that day because they were just like, I feel shit.
Yeah.
And you're like, we'll just take a couple of kilos off.
You can see the change in tempo and all of that. It's like... Whereas when you go to online, you have to communicate a little bit more.
Do you think it's valuable for everyone?
No.
Yeah.
I would say 40% of my clients don't look at it.
Yeah. I would say it adds an element to some of my guys that confuses them, and they'd be better off not knowing it.
Mm.
So, sometimes I'm just like, this week means this.
Yeah.
Because I like to descend the RR over the program.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, start off finding your groove.
Yeah.
Making sure we're kind of within.
Yeah. It's interesting because I don't, but they kind of do.
Well, they do it anyway.
Because
so
it's like,
me as well.
I still want you to beat last week.
Yeah. So first week of the program, I'm like, it might be a 3 or a 4.
Yeah.
So I feel like the heavy movement's always one more than the compound stuff.
Yeah.
So the loadability movement's always 4, and then the access to muscle length output movement's always 3.
Yep.
So it's usually compound and then isolation, whatever. Then over the program, it'll go 2 weeks at the same, then we go down 2 weeks at the same, then we go down 2 weeks at the same. So then in the last 2 to 4 weeks, they're training at 1 to 0.
Yeah.
So all I say to them is all this means
Go
is fucking just give it everything you have.
Yeah.
And I feel
if you do that, you'll probably make progress.
yeah, and the ones that sweat it too much are just worrying about things that probably they should worry about other things that matter more.
Yeah.
So it's majoring minors a little bit.
Mm.
And then the ones that don't really look into it too much and just go, this last 4 weeks, I've got to fucking get after it.
Yeah.
They make really good progress.
Yeah. Yeah, I think from a physique standpoint, it's way less important.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'd happily only program rep and reserve for the prime list.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just...
and then everything else is just do more than you did last week, and eventually you'll get found out.
Yeah.
It's if you sandbag...
Yeah. Sometimes there's a bit of validity, I guess, in holding off on going to complete failure, for a movement to progress. Sometimes holding back a rep for a period of time can break through a plateau because you're not you don't have this overwhelming fatigue that's mounting, but it's not. That's
skill acquisition and all that too.
Well, yeah, and then that's but that's where the coaching, you might be hey, if we can't break through the plateau of this movement, let's just peel the weight, the effort back a little bit, and obviously the weight or the reps.
Mm-hmm.
Bring the fatigue down a little bit, have another rest day, and then see what happens next time we do this. That's where it's totally valid. But if you didn't really kind of follow it that religiously, you just tell them to do that anyway.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Think about when someone has a plateau in a movement and has pushed for a period of time. You usually just take a variation of that exercise, reduce the weight a little bit, and then just tell them to do that. And then all of a sudden they've broken through when they go back to the exercise.
Yeah.
So you're kind of just doing the same thing. You're just using different parameters and talking about it in a different way.
Yeah.
But it's the same. Right?
So just train hard and do more every week. Progressive overload.
Yeah. Yeah.
More sets. More reps or more weight progressively over a program.
Yeah.
It'd probably be okay. But I do also the communication of don't take your bent over row to the same point as you would your
leg extension.
Seated row leg extension.
Yeah, because
you know
it's
what I mean?
a safer movement.
Correct. So that's what I like about it. It's more saying, hey, do this exercise this way.
Yeah. But remember that you'll get that afferent feedback that you can't.
Correct. Yeah.
And it's it's failure, but it's not muscle failure.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's
yeah, you just don't want them fucking throwing it around and whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, I get it. There's so many ways to unpack it though.
Yeah.
So yeah.
There's a really good article on it, STCfit.com. Media, I think you can find in there.
Yeah.
I wrote one during COVID.
Yeah. Interesting time. We got another 10 minutes.
Yeah. It's episode number 4, guys.
So
we're doing well.
I want to have
Uh-oh.
No.
Uh-oh.
I want to have the blood work talk.
Yeah, okay.
So I'm seeing an emergence of coaches that are talking about blood work. Now I'm not
again.
Yeah, and I'm not
every 3 years.
Yeah. But I'm not going. I don't want to go at it with the angle that you can't sit there and say to someone if things aren't feeling too good and things aren't looking great, that you shouldn't encourage someone to just go and get things looked at.
Mm-hmm.
Once you go through the steps of what you should from a coach from a lifestyle perspective.
Yep.
improve their sleep, their hydration, look into their nutrition if you have the capacity to do so, or the skill to do so, credentials. And then from there go, things aren't lining up, or send them to someone who has the credentials nutrition-wise.
Yeah.
And then go, if those things aren't lining up, maybe you need to go and get some blood looked at. The issue I have is, as a personal trainer, you should not be able to read that blood panel and give prescriptions on how to fix it.
Yep.
Because that would insinuate that you have education that is like probably to the equivalent of, I don't know, maybe first year, second year medicine. And I don't think that personal trainers should / need the skill set to do that.
Yeah.
And what that can do is put pressure on personal trainers to do it.
To go outside their scope.
And then all it takes is one person to say something that they shouldn't have.
Yeah.
And when you're dealing with that kind of stuff, you can really fuck some things up.
Yeah.
And I'm just trying to save our industry as a whole. I'm not targeting anyone in particular.
Yeah.
Just don't like cowboys doing cowboy shit.
Yeah. And it comes from a good place. Like, we've dabbled in it. We've looked at it.
Absolutely.
Like, it comes from a place of, I want to do everything I possibly can to help the person in front of me.
Absolutely.
I get it. But one of my biggest problems with it is labels fucking stick. So, like, the whole, like, chronic fatigue isn't a real thing.
Yeah.
Like, there's no evidence to suggest that can happen. It's not a real thing. Like, you're chronically stressed. You don't have chronic fatigue.
Yeah.
So, someone says you have chronic fatigue, they hear, I'm broken. There's nothing I can do, or it's this arduous process. So it's this, or worse, this magic supplement protocol, fucking expensive ass thing that some charlatan's telling me.
Yeah.
That's where it gets fucking sketch.
Yeah.
And to be fair, doctors are just as bad as doing it. That, I think we need to be really careful with that.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, like, there's nothing wrong with saying to someone, like, go get your blood work done. Like, I've had people go, I've got my bloods done. I'm like, great. Yeah, sure. I'll throw myself out there. I know how to read them.
Yeah.
I'm definitely not going to look at them all and, be able to pick, shit that is outside of, like, this is out of the range. It could be this. Like, when we look at this situation, like, just assess the current scenario.
Yeah.
And then, say we probably could do this, and that. Also work with people who take supplements.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like, they're not going to sit there with their doctor and say, I'm on like a gram of gear.
Yeah.
And these are what my bloods say.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit different.
Yeah.
But even then, I'm like, have you gone and spoken to your doctor about all this shit?
Yeah.
Like, have you gone and spoken to this person? I've also got like 20 years experience.
Yeah.
Like, there's people like 3 years in the industry that are like, oh yeah, like, let's do before and afters of blood work and stuff. And like, let's show me this and do this and do that. I'm like, you shouldn't be playing with any of this shit.
Yeah.
Like, how about you just get real good at like training your clients and like sending them to the right people?
Yeah.
So you can send them to whoever to interpret whatever they like. And it's funny, when I started thinking this way, then I saw like a course from someone who I'm not going to name, and it was like about that. And I'm like, I feel like the people who are ahead, like you and I, are almost like creating the problem, right? But trying to solve it at the same time.
Yeah.
But it's like, we shouldn't really be able to give that information to people.
Yeah.
Like, your insurance company's not covering you for that. If they can't cover you to tell someone what to eat at what time and what amount, they're not fucking. If someone's sending you their full blood, if someone's sending you your full blood exam, your sex hormones, and then your fucking iron studies, and you're telling them to do something on top of that, it's like you're fucking dancing, on fucking flame, like on coals, man.
Yeah, I've worked with and know too many people and watched too many people on the internet get given a diagnosis, for lack of a better term, that's been poorly communicated, and something's been made a way bigger deal than it is. And ultimately, the positive feedback loop can't be avoided with the personal trainer. In that, if I tell you something's wrong and then I fix it, you're going to pay me.
Yeah.
and you're going to continue to pay me, and you're going to say I'm amazing.
Mm.
I actually have a note in my phone for a post of like, if other perfectly healthy people are not doing the thing that someone's trying to sell you on the internet, you probably don't need it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you know what I mean? Like if there's lots of people walking around who are in good shape, who recover well from their training, who have good focus, and who have successful lives, don't ice bath, it's not a necessity.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like
Absolutely.
and like the gut health thing gets me.
Yeah.
Like really gets me.
Mm. Yeah, I think there's a misconception with the general population that a personal trainer has this like underlying education in medicine though.
Yeah.
I've even had friends like they're just like, oh, this hurts. I'm like, probably should get that looked at. Oh, they're like, I got a lump here or some shit. I'm like, fuck, go see a doctor, man. Like,
yeah.
And sometimes like you could even have a bit of an idea of what that potentially could be, but it's like, I don't want to say something and then like something happens to you.
Yeah.
And I think the older you get more risk averse.
Mm.
And that's just by nature, right?
Yeah.
You've got more to lose. You've got more skin in the game. You've got more experience. You've seen more shit happen.
Yeah.
So when you're younger, you're just running off ambition and you're running off pure passion.
The Dunning-Kruger thing too, right? The
Yeah.
more you know, the more you know you don't know.
Yeah, and you're running off pure passion. So you're like, I just want to help this person.
Yeah.
And it's like, I just don't want a scenario, because I know people are going to come for me for this, which is fine. I just don't want a scenario where you get a client who puts their trust in someone who's got 3 years in the game, which is enough to be good at their job.
Yeah.
And their job is to program training, keep them motivated, and ensure that they can do that training effectively on an ongoing basis.
Yeah.
To then have the pressure from an industry where we always try and extend ourselves outside of the scope of our practice to feel like we're better than we need to be.
Yeah.
And then go and learn some shit that we're actually not allowed to do.
Yeah.
Which is moving into the realm of medicine.
Yeah.
Now, if we would have to do that, or we should, we have to go to school and do medicine.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And your insurance would cover you.
Yeah.
But it would have all of the provisions inside it. So I just don't want a scenario where, and I'm protecting us as an industry, and you and I are almost trying to do that now. And I'm also protecting clients.
Yeah.
Or the lifters.
Yeah.
From just like going into a scenario where they're just not getting the right help. And I know what you're going to say. There's bad doctors and this and that and the other. I get it.
Find a good one.
You've got to find a good one. There's bad personal trainers.
Yeah.
There's bad accountants.
Yeah.
The thing is, if an accountant gives you bad advice on your finances and shit, you can come for that dude.
Yeah.
And he's probably going to have some form of coverage that protects him.
Yeah.
If I'm giving you financial advice and I fuck it up and you come for me, I'm in shit.
Yeah.
And it's no different like if as a personal trainer, you give someone advice that is well outside of your scope.
Yeah.
You just leave yourself open to risk.
So I'm going to do the yes and, because I think I totally agree with every single thing you just said. My trigger, let's call it, is the personal trainer that is like, you can't have regular salt. You can't have anything plastic. You've got to have 15 minutes of gooch exposure to the sun first thing in the morning. Like all that goes down the fucking rabbit hole of stuff that doesn't matter to 99% of people. And then takes bathtub PEDs and recreational drugs every weekend.
Yeah, and has tattoos.
Yeah.
Like, watch that toxicity, bro.
Yeah, it's like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I get it.
These fucking blinkers and
that's
blind spots and just weird shit that you're worrying about that. My biggest, like with the gut health thing, it's like, how much fucking stress do you create in your life worrying about your gut health? And then stress is the number one
thing that
factor for fucking gut health.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, I get it.
My gut health protocol is like, go for a walk in the morning, go for a walk at night, eat fruit and vegetables.
Yeah. I don't know.
Beyond that, see a professional. But
do you think that's a symptom of like us being so dialed in on like the outcome now though, and the person we work with? Like, do you think because like we just like I've put all my eggs in like a few baskets, right?
Yeah.
It's like you want to lose weight, you want to get strong, you want to get jacked, you want a combination of all those things. You want to do it on a recreational level, or do you want to do it to the extreme?
Mm-hmm.
I'm your person.
Yep.
You know?
Yep.
So now I don't have to extend myself to all of these other things to make myself feel like I need to learn more and feel more valuable to someone.
Yeah.
Because I know I'm good at it.
Yeah. That's definitely.
So then it's like you have this younger generation that are like just don't know where their value is.
Mm-hmm.
So when they work with their clients, they're just extending themselves outside of what they're actually capable of.
Yeah.
When all they need to do is just be really good at the thing.
Yeah. Which we've done.
Absolutely.
Have done. Yeah. 100%.
Absolutely.
Did it a lot. So yeah, I 100%, because I'm so confident in the value I provide now.
You don't have to. We just don't do the thing.
Yeah. And I have so much stack of proof of even like when I was doing it, right? Like when it was like, I was getting clients to do whatever fucking protocol, and then I had clients that didn't do it. The right results weren't different.
Yeah.
Or I introduced this fucking complex new thing that I didn't used to do, and the results didn't get better. I remember talking to Will about it when, like the breathwork positioning stuff, like all the 90-90 breathing and all that we used to do.
Yeah.
We chatted. I had gone off it, and I spoke to him, and I was like, "Are you still like doing the PRI thing?" Blah blah. Blah. He's like,
Doesn't really change.
None of my clients got measurably stronger from doing it, and it took time, so I stopped doing it.
Yeah.
So I think we've done so many things that are like the next fucking this is magic, and it doesn't make any difference to the outcome. Yeah. So then you just go, well, what does make differences to the outcome?
Yeah.
We work with highly driven, usually highly wound humans that are overactive, lift weights, and want to push to uncommon strength, physique, and performance outcomes. And the variables we control deliver that really well.
Yeah.
And most of those people, it's improving their lifestyle, improving their ability to deal with stress and reducing it.
Yeah.
And then go listen to the Learn Programming podcast.
Yeah. Yeah. I get it. Yeah, and just I think that if you're a lifter and there's nothing wrong with getting all your stuff looked at.
Yeah.
It's just I would argue that your personal trainer with Cert 3 and 4 is probably not someone to read your FBE.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's probably 2 people that I would actually send my blood work to.
Yeah. I'm just thinking general population wise though, like we're not doing that.
Yeah, but that's like there's 3 that I would if I had a problem.
Yeah, yeah. But that's like
Yeah.
But their background's not Cert 3 and 4.
No,
You know what I
they're
mean?
all
Yeah.
got fucking masters.
Yeah, it's like they've done degrees, like, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's just a slippery slope that people need to be protected with, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So anyway, that was it. All right.
That's all.
Yeah. I'm done, man. This is like the 4th episode.
Yeah.
5 hours
Can you
in.
feel the salt? Can you feel where? Well, that's probably 5 hours in.
Yeah, we're done.
Feel the salt.
As always, guys, thank you for the support. Perfect opportunity to hit the subscribe button, to go ahead and smash that button. Like, share the potty. Really like your feedback on this one, especially the RRPE. Like, what do you guys use and what do you prefer? And yeah, we will see you next time.